Hey everyone, my name is Madeline and I'm here today to show a little bit of how I take notes in medical school. This was a really big question coming into medical school. A lot of students were like freaking out about how they were going to take notes, how are they were going to retain all this information. And I know Riley, Coon, and I actually employ the same method of taking notes. So he can probably speak to this app a little bit too. But all in all, like I do want to say again that note-taking and studying in itself is a very individual process though. Everyone learns a little bit differently, and this is not a one-size-fits-all thing by any means, whether you're in high school, undergrad, or medical school, or anything else. So that's just the disclaimer there, is that, you know, the best thing to do is trial and error and figure out what study method and note-taking method works best for you. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to at least give you a little bit of a hint into how I take notes and try to retain as much as I can. So here we go. All right, so here we are in Notability, which is this little icon right here. I have it on my computer, on my Mac, and then also on my iPad, and you have to pay for it, but it wasn't insanely expensive, and it's worth it considering how much I use it. So I'll just give you a little tour of how I've been taking notes so far. But on the left side over here is like each block, lecture, or curriculum block that we have, so I have everything organized by this. Currently I'm in this block, so I'll show some of my notes so far. And as you can see, in hematology, I've only had not even 2 weeks worth of hematology yet, and I have over 41 note pieces of material. So that's been great, but I'm actually really enjoying it. So and then from each, like this, so this is all pre-work and then lectures, for example. And then from here, I'll like go back and review lectures and start to make study guides. So here is a true example of like how I've been kind of just running through and making study guides. I'll rewatch things and review lectures and PowerPoints, which PowerPoints and PDFs you can import into Notability and then write on top of them. So that's kind of how you'll see what I mean in a minute. But basically go through and just do a lot of color coordinating and charts and tables to help keep everything straight, because there is a lot of information that you have to know. And then you can insert pictures and screenshots and be able to write on top of everything. So kind of like I've done here, these were all from lecture notes. Here is iron metabolism, which you, I'm sure, will learn about and why that's important in anemias. And then, yep, more of that. I'll show you some more of these. And like I said, a lot of it is just like charts and tables, just to keep everything straight. Here is some stuff on sickle cell anemia and thalassemias. And it's really nice just to be able to help like visual. I'm a very visual learner, and I have kind of a photographic memory, so it kind of helps me to remember all the diagrams and colors that I use and be able to think back and be able to picture these things in my mind when I need to. And here's one other thing that I'd like to show. So this is actually a photo of a piece of paper from undergrad. So yes, from undergrad. It's actually from my immunology class. And so side note, pro tip, I highly recommend keeping any science related notes that you think will be useful in the future. So I kept stuff from biochem, immunology, and a few other classes that I have used multiple times already in medical school. And this, you might be wondering what in the world this entire diagram is, because yes, it's very complicated, but a very quick overview is that this is the complement system, and specifically the classical pathway of the complement system, which happens in a few different instances. But in this example, here you see a little bacterium, so a pathogen that's infectious and not supposed to be in your body. And what happens is there's these little things called PAMPs. They're pathogen-associated molecular patterns that your immune cells, so this Y-shaped cell here is an antibody, your immune cells recognize these PAMPs on pathogens. And what happens then is once this antibody binds the pathogen, this entire cascade occurs on the pathogen surface, and ultimately, after all of these enzymatic reactions, forms a hole in the pathogen surface to go and kill that pathogen to prevent it from replicating and causing illness and infection in your body. So that's what this entire cascade is showing. It's basically just a bunch of second messenger systems and proteins that are, and enzymes that are going on and making this possible. And then, yeah, so I find immunology and hematology super interesting. Like I said, I've really been enjoying it so far, but the point of this was just to show that like some stuff from undergrad, depending on the class, can actually be super helpful in creating notes and making reminders and relearning information. So that's about the extent of what I wanted to show. If you have any questions on Notability, feel free to ask. I know Riley Coon also uses a similar method and uses Notability. So feel free to ask either of us if you have any questions. But I know some people use this in undergrad, some people use it in high school even, but it's been awesome in med school too. So I hope that was helpful, just to give you a little bit of an insider sneak peek on the note-taking of medical school, which can look pretty intense, and I'm only 6 weeks in, so I know it's only it's gonna go up from here. But let me know if you have any questions, or if you're interested in maybe trying out Notability, and there are a few little tips and tricks that come along with it. But yeah, I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.